You're listening to Overwatch Contenders Daily, your path to daily news, scores, and insights into the Overwatch League stars of tomorrow. Here's your host, LemonKiwi.
Fans, hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday and safe travels to everyone going to the Overwatch League finals this weekend. Let me know in the comments below who you guys think is going to win between the Philadelphia Fusion and the London Spitfire. But to get right into today's video, it is a long one, but we go into a really in-depth discussion about the South American region. My guests today are Ana and Tonello from the Portuguese South American stream and Boopasaurus from the English South American Contenders stream. So excited to have these guys on. We're going to be talking about the teams that are performing surprisingly well and surprisingly unwell, and who can realistically beat Brasil Gaming House. That's the best team in South America right now. They're untouched and look unbeatable at the moment, and what matches they are looking forward to seeing in the coming weeks, with some spicy predictions along with that. And finally, their most favorite player in South America. But done rounding up this introduction, let's just get right into my interview with Ana, Tonello, and Boopasaurus. And I'm joined here with the smartest South American casters that can be. I've got Ana, I've got Tonello, and I got Boopasaurus from all kinds of different streams. I gotta start with, how is everyone doing? We're getting to the near end of the season, and it's getting quite competitive.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement, Lemon. Group B is all up in arms now after Pain lost. In Group A, no one knows who the 2nd through 4 is going to be. So I'm really excited. These next 2 weeks should be showing a lot in terms of which teams are going to rise to the top.
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, if you look at in a dictionary for the word competitive, it might be like competitive, the same as Group B from Overwatch Contenders South America. So it's great. It's been great. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at those standings. And Ana, I just got to say congrats to you. Like, now you're taking a caster role and you're getting more involved. And I see your giant notebook of just notes, and I'm so excited to quiz you on everything in there. Look at that. Yeah. She's the actual dictionary
you actually
of South
used,
America.
Like, all of the lines. My notes are like
complete, man. It's
so,
complete.
Oh gosh!
I have literally on stream just made shapes and stuff, so it looks like I have things in my notebook. So, so I'm very, very impressed by yours.
I have such bad handwriting, so I have to use Word documents, or
oh my god!
Read myself.
You should look at Tonello's handwriting.
You should.
Really?
I actually don't have. I don't have any notebook around here, but mine is so bad, man. But still, I mean, sometimes not even I can understand what I just wrote.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So you have to like decipher your own stuff. But let's go over the standings now of this chaos of. Let's start with Group A, who's a little bit less chaotic, a little bit more decided. Brasil Gaming House looking for Org, or formerly Encore. Breakdown Gaming, which is one of Boop's favorites. We'll get to that later. Nocturnes Gaming, Revolts, and Caverna. For Group B, this is the chaos right now. There is no one even decided at the moment. Isurus, Black Dragons, Hephaestus, Pain Gaming are in playoff spots at the moment, and 2Kill and Predators are in fear of relegation. But I want to start with, overall, we're in the mid-season point of South America. Let's start with the surprises for this season. Who do you guys think is performing surprisingly well for the roster that they have acquired? Let's start with you, Tonello.
All right, so surprisingly well. I was thinking just, okay, who might be the surprise in a bad way, but in a good way. I surely believe, I firmly believe, we could talk about Breakdown Gaming and Hephaestus. Those are the teams that, no one expected anything from them because they're just so new to the scene. So we're like, who are the guys for Breakdown? What are their names? Are they like any players that we have already seen or not? So we're just thinking about the guys, and we couldn't really find anything because they were just new faces to the scene. And now they are just winning from everyone. They're having good games, good series, and I firmly believe that both teams could really go big here and go to playoffs, and who knows, maybe, I don't think go to finals, but at least semifinals they might be in.
I completely agree, because especially because we really didn't know who the heck they were. Even though we work in Overwatch for a lot of time, I remember I was writing in my notebook that I write a lot of stuff, and I was like writing the names, and I was like, oh my god, is this a core tank or off tank or a DPS? What the heck are they going to play here? And so it was really interesting. And then when the Contenders finally started, we saw them playing, and it was so good. It was so exciting.
I think for me, so I'm gonna add a new team because I agree with Breakdown. I mean, I can talk about Breakdown for like.
I can't
probably
believe
an hour.
you are the biggest fan of Breakdown, and you're not going to talk about them. Come on.
Okay,
Girl,
okay.
it's a
Well,
$10
they are
story,
Anna.
Boop.
Anna,
You
they are the
say
Crusher
no.
99 story. We're gonna go for it now. I have been
Why
challenged.
do you have to tell us the
All right.
story, Boop, of Breakdown?
I know the story of Breakdown. They wanted $10, right? So they made a team, and they are the Crusher 99 story. If you guys don't remember, Crusher 99 was like the whole path to pro person. It's like you can be a kid in your parents' basement and also be an Overwatch League professional 6 months later if you're good enough. And so that's what Breakdown Gaming is. They went into trials, they won it, then they went into an open division as well, and they won it, and then now they're competing in contenders with one person that has previous competitive experience, and that's Keith. The other thing is that Win98's the only girl in the league, and she is really
She's
good.
really
at
good.
Mercy.
Yeah, she is. She is.
Yeah, she's probably one of the strongest Mercies I've seen. At the games that at least I've gotten to cast and host. Hephaestus, I love their play style. It's very aggressive, and I love like the never give up attitude they have. I specifically remember an Anubis defense where they lost 3 people immediately, and then this is the same Anubis where they ended up playing Doomfist in May on point B.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah,
So
right.
hard.
But my last one's actually going to be just from this last week, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it, guys. Is Revolts, because Eddie Gas was
Oh, gosh.
amazing
Oh,
in
yeah.
his
Yes.
debut.
Yeah,
Like Anna,
sure.
what did you think of Revolts?
Actually, it's hard for me to talk about Revolts because when they got into trials, everybody was like, "Oh my God, this team is so good. They have so many names that we know. These players are so good. They're going to get to contenders for sure." And they didn't do that well. They got like the last spot, almost didn't got in, and then when they were in contenders, they still didn't win, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, this team is so good!" And I was like, "Why are you guys saying this team is good?" Because it's
The hater here, the real hater
Revolts
here.
hater.
The real
I was like,
hater here.
"Oh my God!" And then in the last Sunday, I was like, "Come on, Revolts, we want to see some results here. Let's win!" And I was like hoping for them, and they got it. They won, and now they are finally showing us what we expected. So now I am finally happy with them. Before I was like, what?
And there is actually this whole history behind Edgigas. In Portuguese, we say Edgigas. In English, it can be Edgigas, no problem at all. But
Probably not Eddie Gas.
Yeah.
No, that's,
We kind of just made it up, so
yeah,
that's
that
what
kind
we
of sounds
do.
like something that goes
yeah,
wrong.
that's not a
True
problem. I mean,
pronunciation.
it's actually funny for both me and the players when you guys pronounce their names in English, because they go like, "Oh, Edgar." So in English, I'm Edgar. Oh, come on, look at me. So, there's a whole history behind this, because Edgar's actually, when he used to play for Dogma Esports in 2017 in Overwatch Campeonato Brasileiro, or Overwatch Brazilian Championship, he was also one of the main players, and he was just the guy you could look to, and you could, look always for nice appearances and nice performances, because the guy was just a monster, especially with his Doomfist. He's also a great player. He's great Doomfist player. I don't know if he's better than Stylo, because both are kind of not playing Doomfist right now, but he's the one who tries the most.
Mhm.
So he's also been a great guy, and he's also been a star player on Dogma. And now that he's in Revolts, he's also doing this part. I mean, he's being that guy that I believe Revolts needed. I'm not saying that TH7 or anything, TH7, I don't know how you guys pronounce
Yeah,
it. but
TH7, that's DNA.
All right.
Got it.
I'm not saying that he's a bad guy or bad player. I mean, he's awesome as well, but still, Edgar's might be just what Revolts needed. His attitude, his gameplay, you know, his skills. I firmly believe that this guy might change Revolts and might save Revolts, actually.
I mean, the thing is, you can have a lot of good players, but sometimes it just doesn't connect. And in Overwatch, that is so important. So.
I was a big fan of TH7. I thought like when they faced
Yeah, me
Brasil Gaming
too.
House, when they faced Brasil Gaming House, I thought TH7 was like the only thing that could stop Lico. And I thought like TH7's McCree was really, really good. But then Eddie Gas came in, or Eddie Gas. I'm pronunciation wrong, but
That's great.
when
That's great.
When Eddie Gas came in, they looked way better. Like his Hanzo was
It was
insane.
a different team, Lemon, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was amazing. Like just like something. So I casted Revolts on their last game, and it was a stop. Right? They lost in, I felt like 20 minutes. Right? But then they came back, and in my mind, I was like, they got no chance. They're never gonna win this game. And with their new players, they came in with like confidence that they weren't playing with before. I think they actually believed they could win. And like his Genji was amazing. Edgigas, whatever.
Yeah,
but
yes.
We won't learn it.
Yeah, I'm trying. But in the end, like Revolts looked like a team that could compete, which is not a look they've seen in recent memory, as Anna said, right? Like I was waiting for that time where, hey, are they going to be something? Are they going to prove themselves? And I think they did. And Barijan, how do you guys say it?
Yes, Barijan. In Portugal.
Barijan.
Very, very good Mercy. And I think together they're enabling each other, and they're coming in with that confidence. And the rest of the team probably just feels better about it, right?
And it's also funny because Barijan and Himura, which I don't know if I mean he wasn't kicked out of the team, but he didn't play the last series. But Barijan and Himura were the two supports for WS Blue. You know, it's an old team we had in Brazil, so they used to play together. And Barijan and Himura, as far as I know, they both have come from the console. They both have come from the PS4. So it's kind of funny because Barijan used to play along with Himura, but now he's just subbing him in. But I mean, he was a great guy also. And also, we don't know like what is the comms like. I mean, what are the comms like? What they're saying, and what is like, how is the team connecting? Just like Anna said, because sometimes TH7 wasn't really talking to the guys, or we're talking too much. I don't know. You know, I don't know if you guys.
Yeah,
can
we really don't. No.
We don't know how are the comms. So maybe with this entrance from Edgas and Barijan, everything went better. I don't know.
Well, let's maybe move on to the teams that surprisingly did not do so hot. I know there's a few names coming up, but I want to hear what you guys think. Anna, why don't you lead us off? Who surprisingly did not do well this season?
Well, we were just talking about it, like Revolts. I was like, oh gosh.
Oh yeah, you had just disagreed with Boop, so Revolts is one of them.
Yes, and I don't know, maybe to kill, I'm not sure, because in the last Contenders they went to playoffs. They were battalion, and they did good, but not like what we expected from a team who is playing Contenders, you know. Yeah. So this time we know 3 new teams came up in the Contenders, so we knew that the competition was going to be tougher. And it is. So I believe they are kind of struggling right now, but they can. I mean, we always think of the positive, you know. We are from here. This is our region, so we always hope that they get better and better. So right now, they are kind of struggling, but I hope they will get better, like Revolts did. That's my hope.
Yeah, sure. And I'd also add like Caverna here and Nocturne's Gaming, and I'm actually looking right now at the Overwatch Contenders site.
Oh my God, you are looking right now. I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, there's no Nocturne's Gaming anymore, and I didn't quite know that. Anyways, I do believe Caverna Esports is one of those bad surprises, along to Kill Gaming, and also Nocturne's Gaming or looking for tanks right now, as I think they will be called from now on, especially because Caverna did a great last season. They were just amazing. I won't say that no one knew the guys, but still they were amazing. They could go to playoffs. They had a great season, but now they're just not fitting that well. I mean, also we don't know what's happening, but something's missing there. You know, when you look at the Caverna roster, you see, for example, Maka is a great player, one of the most experienced players from our region, and on the last series or in the last series, he wasn't really performing that well. Actually, sometimes he wasn't really playing at all because he wasn't being allowed to play. So if you look at the roster, you see great guys, you see great experience. Still, Henry in English, I believe you guys might call him, he's not a tank. He's not a main tank at all. He used to be a support. So he's changed position and roles. That might affect the guys as well. And about the looking for tanks roster, they were just amazing last season.
Yeah.
No one would give anything for the guys last season. Fricks was amazing. Agus was just killing everybody on that McCree, and actually the compositions to protect that McCree were amazing as well. So looking for tanks or Nocturnes Gaming were just great in season 1, and now they haven't showed up. I don't know why. I mean, if you look at the team, they're not as coordinated as they were. They are struggling a bit sometimes. Agus is not being that star player that he used to be, and the new additions might not be fitting in as well. So if we were to talk about bad surprises, saying that way, for sure, looking for tanks or Nocturne's game. I'm still confused by this. 2Q and Caverna Esports.
Well, I'm a little surprised neither of you guys said Pain just then.
Yeah, I was wondering. I think we were all on the NA side, like really hyped up by Pain, and then Pain
and I think Lemon that's more so because of League of Legends, Pain is the most like, recognizable.
Dota as well.
And Dota and Smite. They have a good Smite team too, and to like have that name. Right, it's a big deal, but I feel like they're struggling to find even that star player. Right, Leviathan's supposed to be very, very, very good. Right, Mirrors is supposed to be very, very good. But in my opinion, especially against Predators, I know that there was some internet issues, but in the end, they still lost that 3-1, and one was a forfeit map, yes. But I still haven't seen them. They haven't quite impressed me just yet, and that could just be my my initial opinions, but I'm really interested to see what you guys say about it, because our side on the NA is like Pain's a little disappointing, especially losing against Predators, right?
I specifically remember Tonello saying about the after the first game, the first series actually that they played against Black Dragons, Tonello was like before the series, I believe Pain and Black Dragons added some players, and some of them are not here yet. And I believe it was Pain, Tonello, that it has a better or worse. I don't remember which one now.
If I recall correctly, I was not cheering for Pain, but I firmly believed that the guys would win against Black Dragons.
Yeah, you were talking about the additions, players that they got. It was they were so much better in like that we knew about them. So it was really a surprise when they started not playing so well. I remember after the series, Tonello was like, "I'm surprised, but Black Dragons is actually playing better."
Yeah, sure. I think that's something that's happening here is that playing game is going through a lot of problems as well. So Fasty was not supposed to be the off tank. He was supposed to be the main tank. He's always been a main tank. And because Stylo had a problem with his VGA or his graphic card for his computer, then Fasty went on to be the off tank, and Shadow Song came to the team to be the main tank. I wouldn't say this is a huge problem because Shadow Song is also a good player, experienced one. I mean, he can handle being in Pain Gaming. But then we had more problems. For example, Muriz is one of the best players we have in the region because that guy can play anything. That guy's just great. He's been in 3, I believe, World Finals for Heroes of the Storm and so on. So he was just focused on Overwatch, and now I believe he's kind of moving away from Overwatch again, so he's trying to go back to Heroes of the Storm or something like that. I don't really know what's happening there, but he was just a great guy. So we have Killer right now. Killer is also an amazing player, but he might not be showing up exactly the way he did in Season 1. So besides this, I truly believe that Pain Gaming had a lot of problems. I mean, not a lot of problems themselves, but they had a little bit of struggle because of this series that they've played. I mean, against Predators, they had the problem with the lag and the ping issues and all of that. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't know if this is true, but as far as I'm concerned, for the third game and the fourth game as well, they had a lot of ping issues, but they had to keep playing because there was no way out.
Yeah, there were a lot of disconnects. They're possible.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Wasn't Fasty missing from the last Pain Gaming match versus Predators?
I believe on the third map or something.
And Mira's got subbed out at some point too, I think.
Yes,
Maurice,
exactly.
Was in his place. I remember in Season 1, a lot of people were really complimenting Stylo. So I believe when he started to having these problems with his computer and he stopped playing, that was the first, like, yeah, you know, bah, that pain got, you know, like, bah.
Sound effects
and then it was like, ah, yeah. And then it was like one after another, you know. So I mean,
sure.
They are struggling not with the game itself. It's something that comes before. It's something that is like human, you know. Yeah.
And also, if you look at the group, for example, you have like Pain Gaming against Black Dragons and Studios Gaming. We don't know what could happen because those are just amazing matches and there's a lot of rivalry here. So we can really analysis or know for sure who is going to win or who's got the most probability to win. But against Predators, Sukiu and Hephaestus, Pain Gaming is sure the favorite team. And against Predators, they had this problem. Now they have to win against Sukiu because against Hephaestus, they already got a one. So I believe the group is also very hard for them. And I really think that they still have a great team. They still are one of the top 4 in contenders, but the matches that they've played and the problems that they've had are just hitting on them. They're just making everything worse. But the team is still good. Might not be surprisingly good as we thought before, but still the team is good, in my opinion. Sure.
Did we have any other teams that did not do so hot this season we want to bring up? I think you're the last one to bring up Pain.
Do you want me to talk about Predators? I wouldn't.
Predators. I mean, surprisingly unwell. They haven't. I think it's not a surprise they're doing unwell, but we can talk about Predators, which they did win against Pain, so kind of nice.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was going to say. I mean, they are not like they are not a bad surprise. They were just. I mean, they weren't meant to be bad. That's not what I'm trying to say. But if you look at the last season's results, they were already not that good, not a top-notch team. So this is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, Predators, nothing against you, nothing personal here, but still.
We were all hoping that they would at least beat their last season record, and when they kind of beat Pain, it threw us all off guard a little bit, but that was more Pain maybe not being on the right game mentally for that match. But maybe let's go over Group B as a whole. It's just a complete mess right now with like Pain winning again, or sorry, Predators winning over Pain. You got that Hephaestus Game 5, and honestly, who knows who's going to end up in relegation or not. We got some really important matches coming up, but who do you guys think is going into relegation? Are you guys 100% sure Predators will be there, or who do you guys think will be there?
Oh my god, this is so salty. Oh
god. Well, I'll go first since I'm not official South American Contenders caster, and I can be as open as I want. Predators will definitely go into relegation.
Oh god.
In my opinion. So they played better last week, but the thing about Predators is I feel like a lot of them I might be wrong here, and you guys can call me out on this, but this is just my like initial read on it. I feel like a lot of them are playing characters they don't want to play. And it's kind of like back in last season where all these Reinhardt players needed to play Winston, right? And this always looked weird on the Winstons. And once they got to play Reinhardt, they felt a lot better. I just haven't really been impressed specifically with their tank play, and I feel like for consistent winning, good tanks are necessary, and that's what kind of I think Breakdown has above, like Breakdown and Hephaestus in terms of like the newer teams have above them. I think they have more consistent tanks because Rampant Rhino played better last week, but the week before it was pretty rough. I think Nikla and Sam are probably the best players that I've seen so far on that team. Sam's a very good Pharah, but they need to figure out exactly what their game plan is, and I haven't quite seen them do that yet. They're the best when they're enabling Sam and putting a bunch of resources into him, but I'm not seeing that all the time. I'm just not really seeing the consistency needed to avoid relegation. The other team is, I think it's going to have to be between 2Kill and Pain coming up. And I think just in terms of experience, Pain will know what the situation is like and be hopefully better prepared as an organization to get up there, because honestly, it's pretty high stakes for them. It would be an enormous upset if Pain didn't make playoffs. So that's what I think. So I think eventually 2Kill, that loss against Hephaestus, I think, will bite them in the butt later on, and they're gonna. I think that's gonna end. That game will end up being why they're relegated, because I do think Pain will take them in the end. So that's the more you know by Boopasaurus.
Who do you guys think will be the second relegation team then?
You can go, Anna. You want to be the salty one? I know you do. I know you do. Come on.
I am hiding. No, I'm not.
Okay, I can go second then, and I'll
say thank you.
I'll say even though Hephaestus are in a playoff spot right now, I just don't think they have enough steam to finish off the rest of their matches. They haven't really been impressing me. Like, I'm looking at their only wins are against Predators and in a game 5 versus 2Kill. Like, that doesn't seem enough. Like, maybe they'll get by with, because they're going up against Isurus in the last couple weeks, and it's like I feel like that'll drop them down, and maybe they'll get the 4th spot in playoffs, maybe, but I just don't think they're playoff worthy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure, totally.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is Predators did what the 4th place team needs to do in Group B. It's beat one of the big 3, right? You have to get a win against Isurus, Black Dragons, and/or Pain if you wanna get in there. That's not like a for sure thing, but that will definitely help you the best. And Predators already has that, and Hephaestus doesn't. So Lemon, that's definitely a really good point, because their strength of schedule is way harder going down the line.
Yeah, I against Black Dragons and Isurus coming up, so it's like, ugh.
There's another thing about it is that 2Kill, they got a 4-0 win against Isurus. So
that's right. That's right.
So maybe that really helps them to like escape from relegation. So I don't know. I'm kind of with Kiwi. Maybe Hephaestus will go down because of the next series they have, and because 2Kill have this win against Isurus. That, I mean, let's be honest, if they really played, they wouldn't get like 4-0.
Yeah,
I mean, I can be really positive and say, oh, maybe they could win, but not like 4 maps. So I believe this can really help them.
Yes, this helped 2Kill a lot, and I really think that Hephaestus is playing well enough to go to playoffs, but they surely have a chance to go to relegation. But if I were to just put straight two teams in there, I'd say 2Kill and Predators as well. I mean, Hephaestus will go against Black Dragons and Studios Gaming, and I do believe that they will maybe, take a map out of Black Dragons, maybe, or, just surprise in a way, or just upset in a way. But for me, Group B will be Studios, Black Dragons, and Pain Gaming, like top 3, and then Hephaestus in the 4th place, and 2Kill and Predators down there. I actually like 2Kill, and 2Kill, already surprised us on season 1 because they weren't going to playoffs until the last day of group stage. So actually, they were still waiting for the results on another game to see if they were going to playoffs or not. So it was a completely crazy situation, and they might go through that again. But still, I believe Predators and 2K will be on the relegation because of what they were playing, and the fastest got XHM or Xisde in Portuguese. Which has been a great guy. Yeah, it's complicated. It's different in Portuguese, but still, the guy's playing so well. Sometimes, I mean, he's not carrying his team, but he's close to that. And I think the guy might appear again and just be helpful for his team and just turn things around.
Can I just say something completely off topic, just because of what Tonello said? He talked about the difference between Xisde and the way you call this player, and it's the same as my nickname, because my nickname is Ana Xisde written, but it's actually she's the XD, but written like as you read it, In Portuguese, it's she's the XD,
Yeah.
It's
hard.
like XD, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we said like Shinigami. I think that's what we're talking about, which we all got from Death Note.
Well, yeah, it's so funny that you guys say that.
Right,
because
it's right.
I was talking to him, and I was like, I actually really like the name Shinigami. It's like that name sounds so cool to me. I love it. Especially it works on Farah for some reason, right? And so that's funny that we've been butchering it. And that one felt
and you actually know that, and you know that Shinigami is like Death Lord or Death God, that from the manga, these Japanese stuff, but Shinigami means death god. So yeah, he might be a death god. Anyways,
I think we made anime references during our cast. But let's talk about, I guess, the elephant in the room, or maybe the elephant team in the season. There's Brasil Gaming House, who's still undefeated, not even dropping a map, kind of similar to last season. So who realistically can beat Brasil Gaming House in playoffs? I mean, they've already sort of dominated their group. Actually, Encore, looking for Org, look really good too. But in playoffs, which team playing at their very best could realistically beat Brasil Gaming House? Who do you guys think?
You can vote on Tonello first.
Is it on me right now? Okay, I'll go. No problem. If you look at the group A, I don't think anyone could really beat Brasil Gaming House. Maybe Nocturne's Gaming, if they were playing what they played on season 1, could take a map out of a BGH. But I don't know right now if really on group A anyone can beat the guys. But on group B, we have a lot of teams. We have Isuros, we have Black Dragons, and we have Pain. Oh, but Pain is just down there. They're trying to avoid relegation, and I know the case. But if Pain were a complete team with all the players just like totally focused, without problems, without lag problems, without computer problems, and anything like that, they could really take a map or still a win against Brasil Gaming House for sure. Also, we have Black Dragons, because Brasil Gaming House is one of the most strategic teams we have right now, and also one of the most skilled teams we have right now. So they just have both parts of the puzzle. And Black Dragons goes more to the side of skill instead of strategy, but still the guys are great. When Perlix on a good day, he just melts people. So they might have a chance for sure. And also, I mean, the biggest rival of Brasil Gaming House is Isuros Gaming, but Isuros had a lot of changes. X-Ravaged also is not going to play for Isuros Gaming in a soon he won't be there. I don't know if he'll play the next game right now, but maybe he won't play on the playoffs and so on. So
that's a big change.
That's a really big change, because X-Rapid was just coming in strong. He was just fitting to the team right now. So maybe Isuros from Black Dragons, Pain Gaming, and Isuros. I still believe Isuros can but I don't really think that this Isurus is better than Season 1 Isurus. So it might be harder. And also, BGH has got the meta of their dreams right now. Every single player there can play like their best heroes or one of their best heroes, and this adds up a lot to the count here. So it's gonna be hard, but maybe Sudo's Black Dragons or Pain Gaming can do the trick.
So
anyone else? Boop?
I am gonna, Lemon, if it's okay, I also have a follow-up question. So
Yeah.
it is. So after they came out on their last game on different roles, right? Colero was playing Widow.
It was not the first time they did that.
Yeah, I was a little bit perturbed by that, to be honest. I thought it was pretty disrespectful. So, but on the other side, I was also like, man, this is such a great way to assert your dominance, right? Just be like, I'm so much better than you guys. We don't have to play our main champions, right? And so there's something kind of cool about that. So I have and I think that's exactly what BGH does well, is play that, villain character, right?
Yeah.
And I think because of that, and the only team that has beaten BGH in the last year was Karma/Isurus, right? And Tonello, you said something about Breakdown when we first talked a little while ago, and it said Breakdown played BGH and gave them too much respect, right? And
Yes.
I feel like I noticed that when other people have played them so far, but having beat them before, Isurus doesn't have that, right? They can go in and know that they've beaten them before. It's been a while, but they have it in them. BGH doesn't have the mystique that they might have on other teams, because even Pain and Black Dragons haven't gotten a win.
Yep.
But I agree with you. From the VODs that I've seen from last year, Isurus doesn't seem to be as strong. That might be a weird observation based on the fact that they had to forfeit their first match, right? So they just visually don't look as good, like, on the standings. I think if Delavine and the rest of Black Dragons plays their best game and BGH plays a bad game, I think Black Dragons can take that. But in the end, I think that mental attitude in terms of, we're not scared of you, we've beaten you guys before, and BGH is going to have to play a different kind of style to kind of like go against that. Because I think it was 3-1 in finals last year, BGH Isurus, right?
Yep. 4-1.
So, yeah, and so Isurus, they have it in them, they just have to put it all together. And also, I think BGH needs to play a bad game. And if the perfect storm all happens, the two teams that can take them, I think, are Black Dragons and Brasil Gaming House.
I think
It's
I have
interesting.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
No problem. It's interesting to talk about this, because when I was thinking, what can other teams do to maybe win against BGH, and the only thing that we can see that it's really strong for them, but also can be bad, is the confidence, overconfidence. And sometimes not just like changing roles as they did in the last series, that kind of like probably shake off the other team that is like, oh my god, they are playing all their roles and they are still winning. But sometimes they are so confident that they keep in fights that maybe they would normally lose, or maybe they go for the kill too much, that maybe if they were against another team they would lose as well. So sometimes they move in the game in a aggressive way that can really be dangerous as well. So if a team could work with it, maybe they could win. I don't know if this will happen anytime soon, but it would be something to work on.
I think I'm also in between like Isurus and Black Dragons, but I think Black Dragons have a stronger Pharah player. Like Perlig really is just a really entertaining Pharah, and I think would be the one that could go against Liko in that Pharah role in a more even matchup. But when it comes to snipers, I feel like Isurus is stronger in that category. And although I was a big fan of Delavine when he first came onto the roster for Black Dragons, he sort of felt more inconsistent like near the mid part of the season, because like over on the NA side we had nicknamed Delavine Della Ding because he was just such a good sniper. He was so good on the Hanzo and everything, and then he's felt a little bit looser. Yeah, I know, I've heard broadcasters actually say Delading only now. It's really funny.
We say it on accident a lot. It's just like what it is in our head.
It just works, and I think Black Dragons would be the one to beat just because Perlick on that fair is just really good.
Yes, but I mean,
Klaus is also very, very good. So
yes, this is what I was gonna say, because Klaus, I believe, I really believe that Klaus, I mean, in Portuguese we say Klaus, but in English it becomes almost like Klaus from the Wolverine. But anyways, the guy is just awesome. He's always pressuring the backside, or the back line rather, and he's not only like going there and pressuring the back line and okay, so now I'm open and creating space for my team. No, the guy is killing people back there, and he's already forced a lot of teams to bring Brigitte or anything else to try to stop the guy, not only on Tracer but also on Hansel. Most of the time he's trying to flank around, so he's a beast, he's a monster, and I am with Boop here. Isurus has already done this, so they have already beaten BGH, and I do believe they have the chance as well. And Black Dragons must be on the best day. For example, last series, Perlick was saying, he was actually tweeting about the game, and he was like, oh man, I did bad like the whole series, I'm sorry for this, but this cannot happen if Black Dragons wishes to win against Brasil Gaming House. And the thing is, you cannot really beat Brasil Gaming House in terms of strategy, because they have a lot of strategy, they can change a lot, they rotate a lot, and they are good in this. And you can't really surprise Brasil Gaming House, so let's go with Torbjorn and Symmetra for the defense. In this level of play, you cannot really do that. So it's a hard choice, but I still believe that if you, in terms, disrespect BGH in terms of moving around and rotations and just picking the fight or just going for it and not allowing BGH to play the way they want, then you can have a chance. But you have to be just on the best day of your life, maybe for now, until the teams are evolving. I think have to be on the best day of your life, and BGH has to be maybe not on the best day of their lives.
Well,
I don't think.
Sorry, Lemon. I just wanted to add one more thing. I think Anna nailed it, right? When she said that, I was like, that's so true. Because another thing that Brasil Gaming House has never really had to do is adjust their game plan, right? They're so good that they haven't experienced what it's like to play from behind in a very, very long time. And so if you're able to put them in that position, specifically if you're able to take the first game off of them, they're now placed in a situation that they have not practiced for or even expected to be in. And so if you can take advantage of that over aggression and get those picks, and I think a good sniper is probably the best to punish aggression, then in the end, BGH is going to have to play a game they're not used to playing and haven't practiced playing before. And so I think combining what everyone said, I just wanted to point out that I think Anna was spot on. And she should just coach these other teams.
Thank you.
I honestly think
confidence coach.
Like that is like the correct answer, in my opinion. So so just listen to Anna, and you guys are good.
Well, it's hard because can a team realistically even beat BGH? I know we're coming up with teams, but you don't need a crystal ball to say that BGH will be in the finals, but who will join them is the big question mark. But now let's move on to the future. We're only halfway through the season, only a couple more matches to go. But for you guys, we're going to be broadcasting this. So telling the viewers now who will be the match, which match will be the match to watch, and what are your predictions to go along with it?
Oh, God. Let me see. I'm with the schedule.
Let me open the schedule.
Yeah, I'm with the schedule here. So let's see. We have on July 26th, we have this great game again of Isurus against Pain Gaming. This will define a lot of things actually, because this might be a playoff game or anything like this, because both teams are great and they are just one of the favorites, or at least Isurus is one of the favorites for contenders. And then we have let's see Revolts against Breakdown will be a great match as well, because Revolt's just evolving so much after Edgar's joined, and Breakdown Gaming is just blowing people's minds.
Yeah,
And
that is true.
yeah, it is, man. And let's see, I'm here with the schedule, but for example, another match that I'd like to point out is Caverna Esports against Revolts on August 2nd, because Caverna needs to show up. And if they, I mean, the right time to show up is against Revolts, maybe, because Revolts is supposedly one of the worst teams, or one of the last, or the least good teams. Anyways, and they have to win this against Revolts, otherwise they might go to trials. So this is also a great match, but specifically Revolts against Breakdown and Isurus against Pain Gaming are two amazing matches to watch.
So,
Boop, how about you?
I'm going to say Breakdown Nocturnes. I think Breakdown will take that 3-1. And the only reason why I think that'll end up being an elimination game, possibly at the end. And I think Breakdown Nocturnes is a good test for Breakdown, because just again, none of them have prior professional experience, right? So they're coming in as an anomaly. But by this point, by August 2nd, teams will have game tape and know how they work, right? And I noticed that in their last game, that Breakdown lost in 5, was if you can kill 198, they kind of don't know what to do after that, right? She's so good at enabling Shinigami, and if Lubbock is popping off, I think Breakdown could take games off of anybody. But in the end, I think in terms of stakes, I think Nocturne's Breakdown in the end, because Nocturne's got the win against Caverna and Breakdown did too, so this could either be a seeding or an elimination game. And I think the way that those two teams play, those two styles will complement each other well, and hopefully in a game, game 5, but I still think it'll be 3-1 Breakdown. And then the other one is looking for Org BGH, because there's a possibility there's a possibility that they will both be undefeated, and looking for Org looks like a different, honestly, they're playing much, much better than they did last season. And so if they continue getting better and they meet undefeated, one or two things will happen. BGH will go and win this 4-0 anyway, or it'll be BGH's first like real test, because looking for Org could be fighting for the #1 seed at that point in time, and it's their last games. So in terms of stakes, those are the two that I think I'm looking forward to the most.
You guys had so many good matches that I'm like, what will I don't know. I will say the other ones. I mean, all of them, especially Group B, is the matches to watch, you know. Like Group A, we are always looking for, will this team beat BG8 and these kind of things, and who will be 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. And Group B is all mess up. So, I mean, all matches. I don't know.
Also, I just quickly forgot to tell you guys the predictions, and I believe Isurus Gaming against Pain will be 3-1 Isurus, and Revolts against Breakdown will be 3-1 for Breakdown. So.
Okay, Anna, let's get your predictions. If you're not going to tell us the match, let's Pain versus Isurus and Breakdown versus Revolts. What are your hot Anna predictions?
Pain versus Isurus, I believe it will be a 4-map win for Isurus. And the other one?
Revolts versus Breakdown.
Oh, that's a tough one. 3-2 for Breakdown.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Let's go to game 5.
Another one Tonello said was Caverna versus Revolts. So, Boop and Anna, what are your predictions for that one?
I think Caverna will take that 3-1. I don't know. Oh, wait. This is new Revolts. That's right. I'm going to switch that. I'm going to switch that, actually, because... we
actually don't know if TH will play or Edgas, right?
From last week, I think the answer
after what we've seen.
Yeah. I don't know. People are
so I'm going to switch that around and say 3-1 Revolts. And what was the other one, Lemon? Sorry?
Caverna and Revolts, I think, was the last one I asked.
I will say the same as Boop. 3-1 Revolts.
Well, another one we mentioned, too, was looking for Org versus Brasil Gaming House, which, yeah, Brasil Gaming House looked good, but do you guys think looking for Org could take a map?
Maybe a map. maybe.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Sorry to break you down. Yeah, maybe I think for looking for ARG, they might take a map out of BGH, especially if Low Life's playing that well, especially if Godman is playing that well, and as well he's playing right now, and also if Mate, or we actually call him Mate in Portuguese, but still, if he doesn't really mess up the tank play, I mean, he's not a bad tank. I'm not saying that he's a bad tank, but I'm completely with Boop here. Tank play is so much important right now, and has always been, and I firmly believe that Suaran is having a great time on his off tank, because he used to be like soldier only DPS play, and then had an amazing
Rough
soldier
life.
on season 1, and he's also come from the PS4 as far as I'm concerned. But now he's on off tank, he's playing so well. Mate needs to follow him and just be in that great game and in that great day. And maybe Searchy could go back to season 1 and, you know, remember how he used to be a killing Searchy, because Searchy in the Portuguese stream in season 1 was actually known as Searchy and Destroy, because it was just killing everybody as any other. So he might, you know, if he's in a good day as well, just taking out that Widowmaker, or at least pressuring that Widowmaker, that Hanzo, you know, just doing the Ole Zenyatta gameplay here. They might take a map, yes, sure.
Well, I think I'm going to put everybody on the spot. I know there's lots of great teams, and playoffs are wrapping up. We got some really important matches coming in the next couple weeks to decide the seeds and the teams going into trials. But I want one player from every caster here, your favorite player, the player to watch this season and in the future. Anna's already covered her face, so maybe she won't go first. Boop, I'll put you on the spot. Who is your favorite player in South America?
Whew. Can
My
see
God!
the entire
I want to
roster
be honest. Okay,
breakdown,
let me hear what you're going to say. Let me be the last.
I would probably, honestly, okay, I'm going to give two different answers. So the player that I've been most impressed with is Win98, but honestly, Mercy's not like super fun to watch, right? So I feel like I have to pick a DPS player, and I'm going to stay away from the top two because I think Lika's got enough advertising for himself. But also on Breakdown Gaming, I loved Lubbock, and there's something about him and his Widow, and even like the fact that his Widow is so streaky. When he's on, it's I almost just dropped the F-bomb there. I'm so excited. Right? It's when he's on, and he can take control, and he plays the type of Widow I felt like it was a little piney in style, right? It was like he was making the plays happen. He found the kills. It wasn't them peeking. It wasn't people, just being out of position, but he was taking advantage of that. He was a lot quieter in the game 5, I think, because Breakdown, 1, had never been in a game 5 before, and 2, I think like that energy kind of went down. But when everything is going right, I love watching Lubbock.
How do you say his name?
Lubbock. Because
How
that's
do
a
you guys
city.
say it?
Lubbock. Okay, because there's a
we
city
were
in Texas.
Off again.
Really,
That's where
it
we
is.
learn pronunciation /
Yeah, Lubbock. So Lubbock, my favorite player that I know how to say your name is definitely the one to watch for me, because he's been the most entertaining Widow that are, I think, outside of like Pearl Lake and those guys. I think that's the guy that can really become a star one day.
So Tonello, Anna, who's next? Favorite player.
Let me see. I mean, it's so hard to say just one guy. So
I know, right?
I'll try to say one guy for each role. Can it be?
Okay.
Can it be this way? Okay. So for support, I'd say Pizza Lover. He's playing just out of his mind right now with the Mercy, and also Ole is just having a great time with Zenyatta. But I'd say Pizza Lover because Mercies most of the time don't really get recognized or don't really get the fame. But he's just going for all of those like races, and I mean, is just making things happen. Sometimes he's alone. He wouldn't really go for the rest play because his team is not kind of helping him at the time, or there's no Zenyatta ult or anything. But still, he goes there on the perfect timing and get back alive. And this is so amazing and so hard to do. So yeah, Pete Lover and Ole maybe for the support position. Also, we have Klaus. I mean, I really like to see him playing because he's just all over the place. And every time he's on the back line and just killing people and then pressuring people and getting back and going for the Tracer duo and winning the duo and keep like killing the Zenyatta. So there's like no one can hold him back. And I like this style of play. So in terms of DPS already, okay, we have like Perlik, we have Klaus, we have a lot of great guys here, especially Liko and Dudu, which is I believe the oldest duo or the most experienced duo we have, and also one of the best, if not the best DPS duo we have. But Klaus is so fun, I believe, to watch. And finally, D'Agostin from Breakdown. His diva play is great. Is also all around. He's trying to go aggressive. He's I mean, yeah, his area is great. So he was also known for his diva for a long while because he used to be called Spark Pick, and he came from the console. So he bought his PC just to play Overwatch, and he's just there popping off, killing everyone, just protecting his team and being awesome. So yeah, he's also so fun to watch.
Awesome, Anna. You're last up. Your favorite player?
I will go like a little like Boop to say two of them. The first one that I already knew that I really liked the way he plays and this kind of things is Alemão. I don't know how you guys say it.
Yeah. Really good support.
Yeah, and he has a Lucio that is really known here in Brazil. He's really aggressive, and I believe he is one of the keys for BGH to be so good. Like, he knows when to pressure the other team and when to go in, to go out in a fight. A lot of times we've seen BGH win a fight that they obviously lost in the beginning, and then Alemão was the guy to hold the fight happening until the rest of the guys came back, and then they got to win the fight finally. So I really like his gameplay. And the other one is that I really agree with Tonello, is D'Agostin, because actually for me, my memory is horrible. So when the guy changes his nickname, I'm like, who the hell is this? And so when I started to like review the VODs and looking for spotlights in the teams, D'Agostin was someone that I really enjoyed to watch, because he's that diva player who doesn't really need the ultimate to really blow everything. He goes for the kills with his team. He knows when to pressure, when to protect, and he is the diva player that doesn't really he stays around and then throws the mecha and woo 4 kills. He's not that kind of diva. He is that one that really stays with his team and knows his job. So
something that Ham and I call D'Agostin is we call him a utility diva. So. And that's because of what you just said, right? He's probably the best peeling diva I've seen in South America. He knows how to make space for his DPS too, and he knows when and where to do these things. And his decision making and game sense is very good. I actually, if I didn't say Lubach, that's who I was going to say. So we're all on the same page.
Lubach is really fun to watch. It's just that the diva play is something that it was different for me, because here I don't know Tonello, but I was really used to like the diva that it says do its job, but not like and then ult and you know. So. I'm all about
like her sound effects.
Yeah, sorry.
It's just that a lot of times we're like, so what should a good diva do? What really differentiates a good diva from a bad diva? Because putting the matrix on to stop rockets, okay, you don't really have to be that good to do this, but
yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, sure. I can also. I'm on gold, you know.
Yeah.
But for example, if you look at D'Agostin playing in other divas, but if you look especially at his style, you're gonna notice that he's in a position to stop maybe the rocket barrage or other ultimates or other attacks or anything funny from the other team, but he's also working with Lubbock, especially when Lubbock is on its racer. You were, I wouldn't say never, because you should never say never, but still, most of the times Keith is alone, playing on his own and trying to make pressure with Winston and trying to do what he can do, and the rest of the team, especially Lubbock and D'Agostinho, are playing together. And this is a nice play style. And I don't know if this happens because Keith is Peruvian, so the rest of the team is Brazilian, and they cannot really communicate in Spanish/Portuguese. I don't know if this happens. But anyways, this is a cool style. And actually, Lubbock and D'Agostinho have already come to my stream when I was analyzing their games, and they said to me, they were like, man, we really do this. We want to be together. We both want to work together. And it's been working so far.
Lubbock is so good that and actually these Widow plays are so fun to watch that in the last day of Contenders I was the host, and I asked Tonello, how do we do to be so good at Widow, because I want to learn. Please teach me.
We got to get the players to come teach us how to play, and
Yeah.
then maybe teach them how to cast, and we'll
That would
exchange.
be
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That is a great idea for literally every Overwatch region.
Well, they can teach us how to pronounce their names, and then we can actually go from there, right?
Another thing that I have asked in the stream is when we were casting a BGH series, like the way they play with Lico. Like Lico uses something, and then all the team like helps it to kill most people. Like it's always around him. He's always protected. And I was like, BGH, let me play with you. Let me be Lico for once. Let me feel that. How is it to
what
play?
teammates are really like.
Yeah. Without any concern. You're just like,
Exactly.
Just being
But
on
come
a
on,
team with
the-
great
you know-
teammates like that.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the hardest name to say or the hardest nickname to pronounce is Alemão for you, right? The rest is kind
Alemão.
of easy.
I
Yeah,
think
I've
that's one of
noticed-
the ones we
I've
got
noticed
right.
that if I like throw my hand out in front of me and I say it like helps, right? So alemão.
And
For me, it's
and you know the funny part, mão, forget ale, mão in Portuguese is hand.
Oh,
my god!
today we learned.
Cool.
So it works with your thing, Boop.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Alemão.
You do not know this.
Yeah.
You do not know this, but your brain is already working in Portuguese.
Oh.
You just don't know.
See, Boop is the one that actually taught me that, because I was like, LMAO. Like, why is this guy like laughing my A off? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't cast this, and he's like, no, it's Alemão. I was like, oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
throw
the
your
thing
head
is,
out. Yeah, just throw your hand
when I have that really like that little sign in Portuguese and the A, you just say it like in your nose. So instead of going mau, you go mão. Yeah, it's
Mão.
just
Mão, alemão.
Well, we gotta have another video with all these pronunciations. I think you guys already taught some of our other casters a bunch of stuff. But
Yeah.
I think it's all
It would be funny because sometimes, actually, a lot of times, I say the nicknames wrong. So
Oh, and then you. Well, I think there's hope for some of
So
us.
I
Yeah,
think
that
for
one,
me, the hardest name in South American Overwatch is Queijadinha.
Oh,
but
that
it's
was-
perfect, man. That was
Yeah,
perfect.
so
Yeah, that's
easy.
because I practiced it. And so when I first casted it was the first South American cast I ever did. And I was like avoiding it the whole time, and then he ulted, and I was like, I have to say
Oh,
it.
now you
Right? And then I was like, Queijadinha comes down with the Valkyrie, and I was like, in my head, I was like, nailed it. And I had like
Nailed
a
it.
good day after that, right? It was like, that was the first thing I needed. After that, I had like an amazing day. Yeah, so that one's definitely the hardest for me. I think Alemão is I do it subconsciously now. like fireballs or something.
I think we have to have a whole separate video on this, and I think that's all the time we have, at least for a mid-season review. And we're obviously going to be back to go over all the names that NA casters butcher. We can call it NA pronunciations. And go from
That's
there.
great.
But thank you so much, Anna, Tonello, and Boopasaurus for coming on and reviewing the South American region with us. So that will be Overwatch Contenders Daily. I'm LemonKiwi, and we're going to see you guys next week.